Welcome back to another video, guys. This time we're gonna explain you how the storm quest works. This is a weekly quest that you can get after doing the Suslanger first introduction quest line, storyline. You get this quest in the old city, and once you have the quest, it'll ask you to gather 90 Djinn relics. You get these Djinn relics by simply following the event that's gonna happen here. And at the end of the quest you'll be able to complete it and claim your Fate Elixir and Dust of Creation, which you will need to craft the Gift of the Dreams, which on its turn you will need to craft artifacts and empower them. So today I'll explain you guys how it works, where you can get it, and why you do it. So at the beginning of the event you'll see here you have a buff in the Suslanger that says storm is coming. This is the preparation time. This is where people can make raids and gather up together, because it's gonna be a Arcade like full Zerk mode PvE content. It's going to be spawning different storms in the area of Suslanger. You'll be rushing with lots of people through the monsters, just slay them. Just as long as you tag them once, it's fine. You'll be registered to get the loot. And the loot is what you will need to open chests. Now when the mobs die, you will loot something like some kind of a key. It's not an actual key, but it functions as a key, so let's call it a key. The mobs are gonna drop keys, and with those keys you can open chests. These chests will spawn randomly in the desert, but it's pretty obvious when you see them. But there is also an add-on called SundukTarget. I'll put it in the description below. And in that add-on, it's kind of the same as it is actually the same add-on that's helping you show chests in Al-Rihat. That's been adjusted to also show the chests here in Suslanger. So once the event starts right now, you see all these storms appear, and this is one of those chests that you'll be able to loot. But you'll have to kill the monsters first, so as long as you tag them, it's fine. You'll be able to get the loot. Just make sure that you're not going too fast for your looter, or loot them yourself. And here you can see in my bag, here there we go, Efreet Spark. This is the first key that you can get to open these chests. It's important for you that you open as many as you can, because these chests are going to allow you to get a buff called Greed. Now Greed is important to have because at the end of the event, the amount of Greed you have will decide how much rewards you're going to be able to get from the final chest of the storm event. So it's really important that you always focus on opening chests the moment you have some of these keys. Now while doing this event, there's going to be random buffs and random stuff happening as well. As you can see right now, there's going to be a storm appearing that's going to influence your direction. If you're going against the direction of the wind, you'll be slowed down. But if you go with the wind, you're going to receive a buff that's going to increase your speed for 4 seconds. Now for the direction that you want to run, you always want to focus on where the storms are. You see these are yellow and some are red. When they're yellow, they're like kind of preparing. That's where they're gonna spawn monsters. And once they're red, the monsters have spawned and you can start killing. Now it's the whole event is divided into about, let's say, 3 stages. So you have now these small ones that we're killing, the Efreet Sparks, to get the small keys called Efreet Spark. After that you also have a larger version of Sparks, which will drop different kind of keys. But they're gonna have different bigger chests as well. Now they still will give the same amount of greed, but when you loot a chest you also get some kind of ambrosia, which is a new currency in Suslanger, and you'll get some more from those. So these are just treasures called, as you can see. The second stage are gonna have great treasures, and after the second stage it's gonna be the last stage, and it's gonna be one big chest. But in order for you to open that one, you have to kill a big Djinn. Well, several big Djinns actually, and for every Djinn you kill, somebody gets a buff. It's random who's getting it, as far as I know, and that person will be able to damage the shield that's blocking the players from the big chest. As you can see here now, we're getting a storm coming, which has a timer. Timer initially goes from 60 seconds. Once that timer runs out, a big lightning will come from the sky and kill everybody that's in the open. The only way to protect yourself is to quickly go to one of these sanctuaries basically, and it's anywhere where these blue circles are. It's like the same kind of icons you saw in Al-June and Ashakep. And these are like the sanctuaries where you can be safe when a storm happens. You can also use items to protect yourself if you won't make it on time, but these cost ambrosia. So in the end of the at the end of the line, I don't think it's worth getting them because you'll just make the ambrosia back that you spent for buying these items, because you can only buy them with ambrosia unless you are only interested in the weekly quest rewards, which is Fatal Elixir and Dust of Creation. Then it's, you know, as long as you feel fine with it, just go for it and buy it. If you want to farm ambrosia and get as much as you can, then I would suggest you to play careful during the storm and not buy these items. As you can see, this is the one with the speed. If you go with the flow, then you're gonna get a speed buff and you go way faster. So it's much better to just go with the flow for like a second, get the buff, and then go back to the direction you wanted to go initially. You'll be much faster that way. I believe there's also an achievement to... Oh, this guy is dead. As you can see, this guy died because he wasn't on time. Gonna rest him quick. Alright. Nice thing to know as well is that when you do die here, it's not as bad. You go back to Sanctuary, you're not going to Purgatory, you won't have to spend Mirror, but you will lose some of that greed, and that's what you want to avoid, because that's really important during this event. Because the more greed you have, the more loot you'll get. So the last thing you want to do is actually die, because then you'll basically waste your keys and waste attempts. So once you have the great treasures, these are the big ones, you can combine still small ones that you have left over, and that way you can generate bigger keys. It's also not also guaranteed to get the key from the monsters. If you kill them, you can also get some trash loot like Efreet ashes. So you're not guaranteed to get the loot all the time. At the sanctuaries, there's also always a djinn, and those djinns can sell these items here. I've seen not every djinn sells everything. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what's the point behind that. But here, as you can see, the Ambriosa currency that you can buy the Immortal Djinn coin. This coin basically is the same thing as the KOE coin. So when you do die, it allows you to... Well, that's a bit different than the KOE coin. When you die, it allows you to respawn on the same spot again that you did die, so you don't have to run all the way back, and you get to keep all your greed, but at the cost of 200 Ambriosa per coin, so per death basically. Why we do it in raids and parties is because it's easier to see where the majority of people are. You don't have to be in a raid to get the loot, I suppose. It's just easier to see where everybody is going. Gives you like a guideline. And this djinn sells the other item. This is Djinn Shadow. This is costing 1000. That's really not worth it in my opinion. But what this allows you to do is this is gonna pop a shield on you, and for everybody that's inside the shield as well, and it's going to protect them from the AoE, from the lightning storm for 30 seconds long. So pretty nice if you're far away from the sanctuaries and you want to just keep on killing quick to save yourself time. You can do that as well, I guess. And there you see now that the great treasure has spawned, and that's the last stage. This is where you just have to kill the big djinns, and then you get to have the big chest. So you gotta wait for the rest to get here. There we go. You can only loot this big chest if you do have greed, so don't bother if you don't have the greed. Now based on how much greed you have, you're gonna get rewarded. So what you get from these things is you get some random gear, which is pretty good gear. This is like the gear that you will have to get anyway in the beginning. Now I'm not sure how the gear is gonna drop, what you're gonna get on blue sector and above, because we're not there yet. But right now the green tier 1 gear is the best we can get in the green patch, so that's really pretty good as we have it right now. So what we got from this is we got some coins, so we got some gold, we got some matter I see as well for dust, and we got gear. You're also getting ambrosia. As you can see, ambrosia 312. Like I said at the beginning, it's not that much when you're gonna start buying these items like the djinn coin and for sure the djinn immortality item to keep yourself alive. It's not worth it. It's better that you lose a few greed by dying rather than having to spend all the ambrosia and just saving yourself that wipe. You have spent storm bounty. Now what the storm bounty means is that you have a weekly limit of how much ambrosia you can gain. And here we go, in replenishables. It's just like with astral keys and the goblin things and so on. Basically allows you to keep getting rewards from the storm event as long as you still have these. If this is on 0, you basically have no longer a reason to actually do the storm event. Because as long as you have storm bounty, you'll be able to get the rewards from it. If you have none, well, then that's basically it for you for that week. And it also resets on Thursdays. So what else did we get? We got also Essence of the Storm. Now I have 12, I got 3. Essence of the Storm, you can get it from the weekly quest by completing the weekly quest to do the storms, and also from the Great Treasure, which means the last chest here. I believe, but I'm not really sure on that one, that you can also get it from the Great Treasures, so the second stage chests, but I haven't seen it drop yet. I'm assuming because it says Great Treasure and those chests are called Great Treasure as well. So now, why are we doing this? First of all, as you can see in the quest rewards, it's for the Fate Elixir and the Dust Activation, which you will need or want to need if you're gonna build your artifacts and empower them, because they will be for that purpose. The other stuff you'll be able to get from doing this is for the vanity and costume. I'll show you guys here in the middle of the city. There's a few vendors. What can you get from them? You can get these costumes that are requiring both ambrosia and Essence of the Storm. So it really does require you to do these weekly quests and the storms quite often to get as much as you can. Basically, the base rule is if you really want to get everything, you simply have to spend all your storm bounty every week, which is again this currency, and then you can still do, I suppose, the storms for the Essence of the Storm. But I think after you've done all your storm bounty every week, you shouldn't run out of Essence of the Storms, really. I'm gonna show you guys here. So that's from this one, and that is from this one. So that is for the costumes here. Then this NPC sells the camel mount, which is requiring you the maximum Essence of the Storm 60, and then 60,000 ambrosia. So you can basically already calculate how much weeks it's gonna take you to get there. Probably quickly calculating is about 10 weeks, 10 times 50,000. So yeah, let's say 11 weeks. So that's quite a lot. That is about 3 months of doing storms with no spending at anything to get the camel mount. It's a lot, but it's possible, it's doable. This event, this guy sells the pet, a monkey pet. Gonna see if I can show you guys the monkey pet here. Pets, Ayat. No. So searching for me doesn't work in the Russian client on English, even though the names are English. I'm gonna say friendly. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, I'm assuming that I can't see it. I've already noticed as well that some pets don't appear unless you unlock them, at least for the newer pets, because as you see I don't have these unlocked, but I see them anyway. But I have the feeling that when they add new mounts or pets, they're going to lock them until you unlock them. You'll be then only seeing them in your... So also the pets, Essence of the Storm and Ambrosia, and then you have one more. I know, that's it. I believe, yeah, that's it. So you have the costumes, you have the mount, and you have the pet. Quick side note, aside from the storms, if you want to get some more ambrosia, there's 3 dailies that you can still do in Suslanger as well, and these dailies are actually rotating. I'm not sure if it's always the same dailies like with KOE, but so far I have had 3 different dailies every single time from each NPC, and I've been doing it for 3 days now. So it's more diverse than KOE used to be. So the dailies, as you can see, are just simply here, and that's where you can get some more bonus ambrosia for yourself, and also get the reputation, which you will also need for those rewards to unlock them. So that's about everything I can tell you guys about the storm event. Hope you guys know now how it works and what you do it for. If you have any more questions about anything else of the game, please let me know in the comments. I'm reading daily what you guys are saying, and I'll be glad to give you those videos. See you guys on the next one. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's Eve. Bye bye.